this is Danielle Tremblay of WhiteLightConnection.com, here to speak with you today about the clearing work that I do with animals. So over the years, clients have come to me for various reasons, sometimes wanting to not just communicate with their animal family members, but to actually help the animals to problem solve or get out of habits or patterns that feel a little bit stuck for the animal, or to help alleviate their fears. I get a lot of owners that say, can't you just tell my animal, reassure them that I'm here for them, that they're safe, that they can just trust me, they don't have to be afraid of this thing that they've been afraid of for years. And I sometimes find the occasional animal will hear those words and respond to that and be able to shift out of their fear, but for the most part I find the animals need a little bit extra support, if you will, in order to shift their fears to a lesser degree or to let go of them altogether. So in 2011, I discovered this wonderful modality called Access Consciousness. AccessConsciousness.com will give you more information. It was founded by Gary Douglas, and it's a modality that basically offers a bunch of tools and techniques that helps a being to change anything in their life that's not working for them. This work can be applied to humans, and I do work with people doing this by phone, as well as it can be applied to animals. And let me give you an example of one of the first-hand experiences I had in using this clearing work with one of my cats. So last year, 2012, one of my cats named Mackenzie, he is now passed, but at the time Mackenzie was about an 11-12-year-old orange tiger short-haired cat. And he had always had this peculiar habit, if you will, of crouching, cowering, and running whenever I would walk quickly into a room. Even if it wasn't directed towards him, I was, heading in another direction, he just would always respond in this fearful, panicked manner. He'd been doing this since 2005 when I adopted him. He had explained to me years before that prior to me adopting him, he'd had an experience outdoors where he'd been nearly squashed by a vehicle that was backing up. He had locked into his body, he told me, the startle memories and the fear memories of nearly being killed in that moment, and he hadn't been able to shift out of those fears in any way. Being an animal communicator, I spoke with him and asked him, is there something I can do to help you shift out of these fears? And up until last year, he didn't have anything in particular that he felt could assist him. And me telling him, you are safe, you're an indoor-only cat these days, so you don't have to worry about those vehicles outside, wasn't enough for him to logically let go of the fear. Okay? Sometimes, it's like we as beings, animals and humans, we have these thoughts, beliefs, ideas that can stick us, if you will, in a moment, and continue to follow us, into our future life. So he wasn't able to just let go of the past as easily as I would like to have seen. So anyway, with the access tool work, I remember he was doing this particular crouch, cower, and run behavior as I was walking to the room, and out of the blue I said to him, I used the Access Consciousness tool, I said, Mackenzie, everything creating that, and by that I meant everything he was responding to in that moment, how he was behaving, everything creating that, would you be willing to uncreate and destroy at all times a godzillion? Which is me basically asking him, are you willing to let go of it, to release it? I heard a telepathic yes from him, and so I said then, right, wrong, good, bad, all nines, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds, which is the Access Consciousness clearing statement. Its purpose is short speak for a bunch of meaning behind the words that helps to energetically shift the energy that Mackenzie is allowing to shift so that he can have greater ease around the particular area that we were asking him the clearing question and statement around. So, I went about my business that day, and 3 days later I was walking into the room and I happened to notice, walking at my usual quick pace, that there indeed was Mackenzie sitting by the food bowl, just kind of watching me, watching me move left to right, and he had a very curious, and here's the key thing, a very relaxed demeanor upon his face and body. He wasn't doing the cowering, crouch, and run behavior. I thought to myself, that's interesting, he's showing up different in this moment. As the week went on, I didn't see any of his running behavior whatsoever. There was no startle factor to him. It's like he had totally shifted. And so at the end of the week, I sat down and realized and had a conversation with him. And I was like, wow, that thing that I used to do, the walking fast to the room, doesn't startle you anymore. I don't see any of those old behaviors. And he had relayed to me, yeah, I'm not responding that way anymore. It's like it didn't exist. So he was totally able to energetically shift and let go of the thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and everything that created that startle response in the first place. So it was really very fascinating for me as an animal communicator and as an owner of this delightful being to see him have greater ease. So some other examples of clearing work that I've done with animals. So I had one client who had a horse, and this horse was in a particular stable or barn, and 2 horses down was a particular horse that she, the female horse, did not like. She was very impatient towards the second horse. Felt that he was very annoying, and she just had all these really strong opinions about who this other horse was and how he was different from her and his abilities and what she thought of him. And she just had a lot of opinions, just like humans have opinions. So the owner was hoping to have greater ease for this horse around this horse 2 stalls down. So we did some clearing work with her, and she too totally shifted. She behaviorally changed the mannerisms and her actions towards this horse 2 stalls down. Another example, so I had another client with a cat who was very fearful by nature. Okay, the cat had always been a little bit nervous and scared ever since it had been brought in the house, and the cat had been living there for a few years. The owner had 2 cats. One cat was more social and outgoing, and then there was the second one that was more reserved, secretive, doing a lot of hiding. Even the owners weren't really seeing it out and about very much. We did clearing work with the cat, and the cat too shifted. She transformed into a being herself that was unencumbered by the insecurities that she had and fears that she had around being seen by humans. So she started becoming more social with the human family. She once even sat in one of the people's laps, which the family member had said was totally unheard of for this cat. And the cat has continued to just be more relaxed in who she is. So with a final example, so I had another client who had a horse, and the horse was very uncomfortable in having its feet handled. So the horse would do things such as pulling its feet out of its owner's hands when she would try to work with it, or pulling its feet out of the farrier's hands, dancing away from the farrier, jumping in a panicked sort of way away from the farrier. It began to escalate to the point where the horse was rearing when it would even see the farrier before the farrier even touched it. And we ended up doing clearing work around this horse, and the clearing work revealed an awful lot of fears, insecurities, doubts, mistrust issues around people, even though this horse had had a positive interaction with people for the majority of its, well, for all of its life actually in this lifetime. So everything that the horse brought up, we did ask a lot of questions around, such as I asked, would you be willing to release everything that causes you to feel insecure when your feet are being held by human hands? And every question that I asked repeatedly to the horse, everything the horse said yes to, it was willing to shift or release in order to show up different. We actually did clearing work on, and the horse ended up shifting. So it was very cool because after the clearing work session, the very next day, the owner had the farrier out again, and the horse was totally relaxed and calm in a way that it had never been with farrier work. So the horse even went to the point where its whole physical body relaxed and its head came down, and he placed his head upon the shoulder and the chest of the stable hand who was holding him while he was having his feet trimmed. So he'd never done that before. And I've been in touch with the owner, and she says he continues to be fabulously calm when working with the farrier. So here's the thing I find with clearing work. In order for clearing work to assist a being, the animal in this case, or the human that I'm working with, has to truly desire the change. When I asked the horse regarding the hoof issues, what is it, how would you really want to show up in the world when having your feet handled? And the horse said, I really want to be calm, I want to feel relaxed, I want to not have to go to worry mode that I'm unsafe, okay? And he showed me an example, gave me lots of images of how he truly wanted to be. He had the desire to change. Mackenzie, my orange cat, had the desire to change. Okay, most humans, when we have fears, don't we wish that we could change those things? Well, what if clearing work is one of many tools that can help us to do that in a way that's light, easy, and, can be really effective for us? The amount a being is willing to change and shift is dependent upon how much they're willing to release during the clearing work. Every being is different. Sometimes we have layers of stuff that keeps us in a certain way of thinking, and the animals can have that too. So I do find that animals tend to release things. The desire for them to release things is a whole lot easier and quicker sometimes than a lot of humans. It's a really cool thing. So if I can answer any questions for you, or you're wanting to set up an animal communication session with some clearing work sprinkled in, that's a possibility. Or if you want to set up an animal communication session where the entire session is just clearing work with the animals. What that looks like is basically I ask the animal a lot of questions such as, okay, what is going on in your life that you're wanting to change? Your person thinks it's this, this, and this. Are you on board with that? And if the animal says yes, then I start creating questions. I feel the energy, sense the energy, create questions around what it is that feels a little stuck energy-wise, and ask the animal, do you want to change this? Do you want to uncreate and destroy this, which simply means let go of it all? And if I hear yes, I say the clearing statement, and we go on to the next bit of energy that feels like it's ready to be cleared. So it's question upon question across question, clearing, clearing, clearing. And the animals often shift very quickly. So please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. Have a wonderful day.